Well, I was going to go in council chambers, but there'll need to be 3 of us in there. We'd be getting some feedback then. One day I'm gonna need to get with you, Craig, and just so you can show me a few things on this.
We can definitely do that, sir. Okay, Mayor, just a heads up, we are set up on the website, so it is live broadcasting now.
Okay. But my plans are, if we have 4 people, we're gonna start the meeting exactly 6 o'clock. So
Sounds like a plan to me. 5 o'clock, you mean?
or 5 o'clock. Yeah. That throwing me off.
Yeah, doing the meeting early.
So let's see. Boy, that doorbell's loud.
I see you, Mayor.
Yeah, finally. Couldn't hear me earlier, but Craig got it figured out.
Johnny's having issues with her computer.
We're being broadcast too, so just let you know.
Yeah.
Craig got us hooked up and we're going, so. Now, is this on our website, Craig?
Yes, sir. It's just the evermantx.us and then / city council live stream.
Yeah, that's what I did. That one's not popping up. Our other city.
Well, I'm gonna silence mine for a couple minutes.
Okay.
Hey, Kelly, keep your silence except when you have something to say, okay?
All right.
Mayor, I just sent you that link to your email. If you wanted to pull it up, you should be able to see it now.
I just want to look at it real quick while we're waiting.
Yeah.
Put the deal in there, it wasn't popping up. did tell Rachel, we're gonna run this one just like we did the last one. And get to the end of the meeting, then I'll go to her and ask her if she's got any comments.
Okay.
If she does, instead of me reading them, I may just have her read them. So, I mean, she'll still send them to council, but I don't foresee seeing anything today, but you never know.
And I think as long as they are read for the record, that's all that matters.
Yeah.
Hello.
Hey, Judy.
How's everybody doing?
We hear you.
Good.
We don't see you.
What?
There's no video.
I said join by video.
Yeah, it seems to be going okay.
Nobody can see me?
Can't see
I
you, but we
can,
can hear you.
Oh, well, I clicked the join by video. Should I get out and try it again?
I think
you
it's
can-
okay. As long as we can hear you, you should be fine.
Okay.
And you can see us, so that's okay.
Yeah, I can see you guys.
Can't she start her video by going to the left-hand corner?
Well, she says she did. and
Well,
it's just
she did
blank
when she
hand.
came in, but since it didn't take, you can go down and click on the start video.
Okay, let me try that again.
I'll be right back.
Okay. Can anybody see me now?
No, ma'am.
No,
Well, shoot. Okay. Oh, well.
at the bottom of your screen, do you have a bar that shows mute
Yeah,
and stop?
I see that.
Is there a start video?
I don't see one.
Even if you tap the screen,
Yeah, they're both on.
Okay, let's see.
Yeah, it seems to be.
Oops. Huh.
that muted you. There you go.
Okay, I've got one that says stop video.
Okay, click stop and try start again, and let's see if it does it then.
Okay,
Just click right on the camera.
okay.
It's doing something.
Can you see me now?
Oh,
No.
now click it again.
What about now?
It just shows us your name right now. It's
No. Well, that's okay.
must still have permission setting issues, so I can I'll get with you and we'll get the permission settings changed. That happened to Susan last week.
Huh. Well, last week you could see me, right?
Yep.
You're asking me to remember something from more than a day ago.
Yeah, please. Yeah, it's got the start video with a line across it. And then it's got two arrows going up. And then the mute thing. It's got share, I got participants. Should I hit the participants? No, because I can see you guys.
Yeah, that would just show you who all's a part of the chat.
So far I see Kelly, Ray, Rachel, you. Well, good. Then you guys don't get to see my house being dirty or anything. Yay.
Yeah, I went over and looked at your participation. You're the only camera off. Oh, Spencer's went off.
Yeah, that was me. I was taking a drink, so I turned my camera off for a second.
Do we have to do that? Turn the video off when we sip our coffee?
No, not at all.
Somebody else join?
Yeah, Miss Miriam.
I don't have her on here.
Her video's off too.
Oh, okay.
I had mine muted while all the noise was in the shop.
Hello, Susan.
I can't hear them.
Yeah, you can.
Hello.
Hello.
Ah, Susan.
Howdy.
Hello.
How are you?
Lovely today.
I'm trying to make my screen not quite so big so I can also see documents.
That's okay. Nobody can see me anyway.
How come?
I don't know.
Miss Susan, I believe if you will just minimize it, I believe it automatically makes it a small screen on the right side of the page for you.
I got it.
Perfect.
I just want to move it down so I can click tabs up at the top.
Perfect.
Well, I got all the financial stuff printed out, except I didn't see a monthly financial update for March.
Well, it should be there. I think Rachel sent them out.
Well, I got the cash and the revenue and all that. It was just the update, the letter, thing.
Yeah, there was not one.
Oh, well, I guess that's why I didn't get one.
Hmm. Right. Yeah, how come we didn't get that?
Because we didn't make one.
Why?
We spent money.
Well, things have been kind of hectic around here.
Oh.
Well, everybody's working at home. We still need documents.
Which documents are you missing, ma'am?
A monthly update, financial update letter.
For March, we got February's,
Yes.
but the March one, it wasn't on the website either.
We've not done it yet.
Yeah.
That email?
It just went out.
You sent it to everybody's email?
Yeah.
Okay, let's see.
Financial update. There it is. Thank you.
All right, what did I do?
Craig, you hadn't heard anything from Linda, have you?
No, sir, I have not.
Okay.
There it is.
And Johnny was having trouble with her
Yeah,
PC,
she's
so
on. She's on.
Miss Allen, can you hear us okay? I think you're muted, Miss Allen. I'm sorry.
I used my phone, Mr. Gunderson.
okay.
Everybody ready?
Yep.
It's 5 o'clock, so let's go ahead and I'm gonna call the meeting to order for the regular meeting for April 14th, 2020. Got a little disclaimer here. Some members of city council may participate via telephone or video conference. A quorum may or may not be physically present in the city council chambers. Texas Government Code 551.027 A2. Citizens wishing to make comments should email rdixon@evermantx.net. Citizens' comments received prior to the meeting adjourned will be read to the council. So we got that out of the way. We're going to skip down to consent agenda items. We have the reading of previous meetings. Item 1's the minutes to be approved. Minutes to be approved at a later date. So item B, financial report, March 2020. Anybody,
Sue,
Yeah, I got it.
anybody have any questions on the financials?
Yes, I do. This is Johnny. On the financial report, for, January 28th, for the splash pad, it was $54,499.75. And EDC had only approved 40, I think it was like 48 for that.
that is correct. There was an adjustment due to when they got to digging down to replace the tank, they found buried concrete and they had to drill through it and break it up. And they quoted the additional charge and I approved it to get it processed. If EDC does not approve that, then we will cover it ourselves. But that was what the additional charge was for.
Okay. Also, on January the 2nd, there was a charge for $7,500 for a refurbished wheel.
I think you're referring to the flooring at the Wheeler property.
Yes.
That was mischarged and it's going to be corrected this month, but it was charged to council and it should have been charged to EDC. It was the repairs to the floor of the museum.
Oh,
Yes.
okay. Okay.
That is noted on the bottom of the expenditure report for
Yeah.
this month. You can see it, number 2, it lists the $7,500 capital expenditure recorded in the wrong fund. It will be transferred.
Okay. Also on February the 21st, there was a charge for $675. And it said Everman Supermarket, and then it said holiday voucher.
Yeah, that was a program where Jennifer went to the stores around here trying to establish a holiday
Incentive,
program that,
employee incentive.
yeah, employee incentive where the vendor, the store would pay 50%. Was it 50%, Susan?
Yes.
Yeah, it was a 50% by the store, and then we funded the difference to supply a turkey or a voucher to buy a Christmas turkey.
Okay, so we're just not paying for it in February?
Yeah,
That's correct.
Okay. I wanted to ask a question regarding, since we have the coronavirus and everything and people are laid off, if, the city was going to do anything like as far as possibly waiving late fees for the water bill or anything like that.
We have done that. This month, we are not charging late fees,
Okay.
Sounds good.
and we are not cutting off anybody's water.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
We have any other questions?
Uh,
Okay, I'll entertain a motion.
Okay, wait, just a minute. Okay, I wanted to ask real quick. I noticed on the expenditure, Susan, that it said increase in salary expense and vandalism repairs. What was that for? Was that the park stuff?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and what was the increase in salary expense?
That was just from when Mr. Box was on salary still at the same time as Mr. Gunderson.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's a different department. One is in the administrative department, the other is parks.
Okay, so all the vandalism repairs was for the parks though, right?
That's correct.
Okay, all right. Thank you.
Anything else?
I would like to say that in the month of May, we will be bringing forth the first budget amendments as we begin the budget process. And there have been quite a few that we've talked about over the past 6 months, and I will provide those to you in May.
Okay, if we have nothing else, I'll entertain a motion.
Can I just make a comment?
Sure.
I just wanted to bring attention to the bottom portion of the monthly financial update. Just to some highlights. As you know, that the interest rate has gone down with logic and it continues to go down. So as a result, we will probably not make our interest revenue amounts for this fiscal year due to the loss of those, of that interest amount. And then also wanted to bring to attention just a basic overview of the financial impact that COVID has had on not only the federal economy, but also the city finances here in our city. And the biggest impact, of course, will be from the loss of revenues. And that could be from water revenues, sales tax revenue, property tax, although we've collected the majority of the property tax. And then, of course, interest income, they all have the potential to be negatively impacted. It will take several months before we see some of these decreases in revenue. But we remain fiscally responsible and we will act in the best interest of our taxpayers while maintaining the services here. And in an effort to do that, we have been working diligently on tracking the expenditures, all expenditures and personnel hours that have been related to COVID. And this documentation will be used for the reimbursement purposes. And we're hoping to get, depending on funds and who's allowed, we're hoping to get 75% of that through FEMA public assistance program. So we're hoping to recoup a lot of these expenses that we've had here in the last few weeks.
So have we had a lot of people not paying water bills right now?
Yes, there have been some that aren't being paid, but the Public Utility Commission, we cannot shut anybody off.
Right, I knew that. I was just curious about how much we haven't collected on the water yet.
Well, again, that's going to be hard to tell up front. Most of this impact we'll see in the next month, a month and a half.
Then we'll have an update.
Oh, yes, definitely.
Okay, thank
But,
you.
but I can definitely tell you that our sales tax will be significantly impacted in May and probably,
I knew
June.
that. Yeah,
May and June.
yeah. I was just curious about the water, how that was working out.
Yeah, as residents continue to get laid off from positions or furloughed or things like that, then
Right.
those will continue to go down as
Right.
people are unable to pay for those services.
Yeah. Oh, I was just curious about to see how much we were losing on that. Okay, that's it.
Okay, but I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a
I'm-
motion-
Go
Go
ahead.
Mhm.
I'll make a motion to approve financial report for March 2020.
Second.
Okay, motion made and seconded. Any further discussion? Rachel, would you poll the council?
Place 2,
Aye.
place 3,
No.
place 4,
Aye.
place 5,
Aye.
place 6,
Aye.
Mayor,
Aye. Motion passes. Okay, now we'll drop down to item 6, discussion items. Item 1, need to prepare for the drilling of a new water well.
Yeah.
Let
I've
me read
listened-
all of this real quick. A, in reviewing potential new developments, both residential and commercial, we have discovered that our water capacity is far below where it needs to be. B, best option is to drill a Trinity well at the Columbine well site, but we need to acquire some additional property to put the well on. We are looking at those options. Item C, Lisa Menace and Greg Saunders are evaluating the state requirements that have become more severe for new wells. D, Lisa is also gathering data regarding the cost of drilling a new well. Okay, now go ahead, Mr. Gunnison.
Yeah, there are several discussion items here. This one in particular is pretty critical, as Mr. Nicoletti and myself and Greg Saunders have been looking at potential developments in the city. And the question came up, and I asked Greg and Lisa to sit down and figure out what our capacity is. And it's been determined that we have a deficient capacity with the given residential and commercial properties that we have now. And it will be even greater if they develop as we expect them to in the very near future. So I asked both Lisa and Greg to get together, determine what needs to be done from a regulatory and a financial position to get this thing moving. Because I think that we may have a new residential development going into the city soon. Any questions?
Where is it going to be?
Well, about the only place that we could put one is on the can't think of the name of the property place.
Hannah Ranch.
Hannah Ranch.
Hannah Ranch. The just off of Royce C. Brooks, the Hannah Ranch property there. It's currently commercial and industrial zone, but they will come in and ask for a rezoning of that property with a plan. And if they do that, I want to be ready for it.
So how soon are we talking about?
Well, according to Nicoletti, they are in the process of putting together their plans for submission to our planning and zoning board.
So is this something that can be put on our next budget?
Yeah, I mean, it's not something that we need to do tomorrow, but it's something we need to start today from a perspective of planning, because we're talking about the new well, we're talking about all of the regulatory legal concerns about drilling a new well.
Right.
So there's a lot to be investigated, resolved, and not to mention, we need to make sure our planning and zoning board is ready to hear the case.
Okay, now you're talking about purchasing property for the well, is that what you're saying?
We examine the Columbine well site. It cannot, as currently constructed, accommodate an additional Trinity well. And we will need to extend that property either north or east to make room for the new well or find a different site. But
Okay,
that's the most,
Columbine, is that over here off of South Way?
Yes, that's the well site.
Oh, okay, okay.
It's one there by your house, Johnny. I believe this is being recommended because this is the cheapest alternative would be to add to that well site instead of coming in and having to construct a whole new one. That's my understanding. So, but you know, it may not work out. We may have to look elsewhere.
I want council to know now that we're looking at it, because you're going to be involved in a lot of decisions related to this down the road. There are other alternatives, but we haven't put that together yet. This is just kind of a heads up that we're looking at it. And it's going to be urgent.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what our financial situation is going to be after all this.
Yep.
You said that we probably are going to get another housing area in town somewhere soon. Where is that going to be?
It's
Right.
the,
You know, the Hannah Ranch.
yeah, over off Roy C. Brooks.
Is that
Yeah.
what you're expecting?
Yes.
Okay.
But even if that is not done, we have got to get our water situation up to a proper level.
What does that
And
mean?
well, right now, we're below the TCEQ requirements. And
For
the
what?
only reason, requirements for, I can't speak to all the details of it, but they have a certain requirement for capacity.
Okay.
And the only reason we pass muster on that right now is because we have alternative source from Fort Worth as our backup water source. But we don't want to have to draw on that. They deal in surface water. We have well water. That mixture's not going to work. But it's an emergency backup. But again, it's the only way that we currently are passing the test, if you will, even with our current capacity versus our requirements.
Okay. So the well, can you give us a big question mark, but can you give us a ballpark on how much this is going to cost? And I mean ballpark.
No, I cannot. I don't even want to go there. I've asked Lisa and Greg to get those numbers for me, and they're working on it as we speak.
Okay, well, we would, I'm speaking for everybody. We want to know as soon as you get those numbers, what we're looking at. It's
I
not
will
gonna
let
be
you know.
easy, I know.
Yeah, yeah, we need to know numbers.
Yeah,
I
and
understand.
not until, we don't want to wait until budget is here and it gets given to us. We want to know as soon as those numbers are available, we want to know what that is, please.
If I had them, they would be in this presentation.
Thank you.
Well, Susan, this is not going to be a quick thing. It's going to take probably months and months and months to do this.
We understand that. We just want to know a ballpark figure. Is
Yeah,
it going to be $6 million?
So
Is it going to be, we just want to know a number.
Yeah.
A
and we'll
ballpark.
have those. We'll have those.
That's
It
all I'm
just,
asking.
yeah, it's going to be a long process. So that'll be
Yes.
the first thing we're going to have to do is get a ballpark number. So,
Yep. That's what we're after.
okay, anything else on that?
No.
Okay, well,
right
let's
now.
move down to item 2. Council needs to approve the purchase of a new mini excavator with trailer. The cost of hiring contractors to repair water main breaks is rising. We have spent over $6,000 in just the last 2 months. Borrowing equipment is not timely and liability for the equipment is greater than the reward.
Yeah, I've mentioned before that our backhoe has been out of commission. And we looked through purchasing a new backhoe. That's kind of out of the ballpark. Lisa thinks that we can get by with a mini excavator, is what they call it. And I've submitted to you the estimates on the cost of the machine and the trailer to tow it. On that estimate, it also shows sales tax. You can ignore that. We just haven't given them the tax exemption form. But that's the price that will allow us to put our guys back to work instead of hiring Gray Tech or someone else to dig up our main breaks.
Are
So
they
with that-
experienced?
What?
Are they experienced in the job, doing the job?
What do you mean?
You said versus hiring someone.
Well, we have certain contractors when we get a situation on a main break that we can't handle, that we always call on. The problem is that we should be able to handle these main breaks if we had the digging equipment. But right now, we don't have that equipment. So we have to get someone out to do it.
Okay,
So
well,
it's-
I got a couple of questions though. As far as the backhoe, have we looked at how much it would cost to repair that at all, if it can be? And have we looked at, instead of buying a new one, a mini new one, a used one or something that would be a little bit cheaper? Or anything like that for its cost savings?
We have done that. And the repair, we've been told that we could repair it and make it serviceable, but without any guarantees. And that cost is significant. It's more than half of the cost of this new equipment. As far as buying used equipment, we've looked at some used equipment and it's basically, we would be buying somebody else's problem.
Well, how do we know that? I mean,
Well, because we've looked at the equipment and the equipment we've looked at looks very dicey. It's already- It looks like it already needs repair. So, I mean,
we couldn't borrow one maybe from the county even or something for a while, or to, budget time or something, or?
Yeah, we probably could borrow. I don't believe anybody's gonna lend us one on a permanent basis.
Well, I was just thinking till we get it to where we financially can look at it, you know.
Well, we've looked at those avenues and frankly, they were pretty much dead end.
Hmm.
When will you need to purchase it?
Where?
No, when? How soon do you need it?
Well, I mean, we can continue hiring Great Tech every time we need to resolve a main break. So,
You need it now is what you're saying.
yeah, we don't have any equipment right now to dig the water main break.
Is
So we're
this gonna
spending,
come, is this gonna come out of the water fund?
it will come out of the water fund.
Okay. Yeah, nothing's cheap anymore.
No, not equipment,
So we're looking at about $50,000 for this thing, maybe
roughly.
a little less without the tax on those two
It's
invoices.
actually closer to 52 without the tax. I think it's 44 plus 7 for the trailer.
Yeah, I counted about 56,000, a little over 56 with tax.
Yeah,
So it'll drop down. Okay. Oh,
In the long run, it'll be cheaper than constantly having someone else come out there and dig for us.
yeah.
The-
Right now, we've got workers sitting around watching somebody else do their job.
The total cost is $52,006. That's the
Wow.
trailer and the excavator.
006. Okay. 52. Okay, thank you.
That's total, so. Okay, we have any other discussion on that?
No.
Okay, let's drop down to item 3, our Texas Water Development Board loan closed on April 8th. The loan proceeds will be kept in escrow and distributed upon submission of invoices on the waterline project. We received $248,000 on the 8th for engineering invoices previously paid on this project.
You know, I just wanted to let you know that we did close on it, that there's no further action required by council. The money is in escrow. That's a condition of our loan. And we submit to them the invoice required as we start the project, and they will disperse funds out of the loan proceeds to us. All along, we have been paying engineering costs up front as Greg and his firm have been doing the engineering prep work. That's why the water fund has such a negative balance, is because we've been paying that, but now we're getting reimbursed for those expenses, and it'll bring the water balance back more in line.
So that $248,000 will get reimbursed from the TWDB loan. And hey,
It's actually a disbursement from the loan proceeds to us
Okay.
for invoices we've already paid.
okay, that'll pay for the excavator.
Well, we've already received it.
It's
Yes,
two
we
different
have.
funds.
That'll pay for the engineering expenses that we've incurred.
Right. Thought we already paid them.
Yes, we did.
We don't want
It's
to pay them twice.
reimbursing- It's reimbursing us for what we've already spent. Susan.
Right. I got that. What I'm saying is there's $52,000 sitting out there for an excavator that we can now pay for.
Mm,
Just
Do we-
saying.
We'll be in a better position to pay for it, yes.
even though we
Yeah,
already
me
spent
either.
the money to begin with.
We were already in the negative.
Yeah,
Do we have any further discussion on that? Okay, item 4, we are preparing for the beginning of the annual budgeting process, which will begin in May.
I just wanted to bring that to everyone's attention that May we'll start putting together our budget documents, probably begin budgeting process for council in June.
Okay.
Anybody have anything on that? Okay, item 5, we are continuing our City Hall coronavirus protocol. We are working shortened days on Tuesday and Thursday and only come in as needed on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. City Hall is closed to outside traffic. Employees have been set up with access to their City Hall computers from their homes in order to process necessary business. Phones have been forwarded to key individuals' cell phones to answer citizens' inquiries.
As we have this kind of crisis schedule, I wanted to let you know we are looking at when we can start back on a normal schedule. We're in discussion about that. I'm shooting for the 1st of May to open City Hall for normal operations, but not to the public. In other words, everybody will come back. We'll get back into the normal swing of it in preparation for opening to the public. And I would like to see City Hall and all operations open to the public, including parks, coronavirus permitting, by May 7th. That's my target, unless we have any bad developments.
Yeah, if I can just add to that, one thing that we're monitoring right now is we are monitoring the trends countywide. We're monitoring the trends locally. And when Mr. Gunderson expressed that idea to me this morning, his plan, it appears with the trends that we're seeing right now, it may be very feasible to do that. So we're going to continue to monitor that as it gets closer. Obviously, if we see a huge spike or a secondary increase of some kind, Mr. Gunderson's asked me to make sure I keep him informed of that. We can change that plan as necessary, but it's certainly a goal we're setting and something we can work towards.
The 2 individuals that are in Everman, they have the virus.
We do have 2 confirmed COVID-19 cases in Everman. Yes, ma'am.
And we need to be careful talking about this. We don't need to have personal information getting out there about some of our residents. So anything else on that? Okay, let's drop down to item 6. Work on the parks continues as we try to complete the baseball fields renovation and schedule parking lot resurfacing. The county has canceled the original interlocal agreement for the Johnston parking lots and resubmitted for their approval, for our approval, 2 new interlocals that break the project into 2 pieces. This helps bypass some regulatory hurdles and allows more flexibility in scheduling the work.
Yeah, I spoke to the county and I've attached for your approval the interlocals that they have submitted to me that they have decided it's better into their schedule and it bypasses any TCQ regulations that they were running up against with our first interlocal. So I would like to have you all approve those 2 interlocals tonight so that I can get them back to Kathy at the county.
okay.
Any other discussion on that?
Good.
Okay, let's go down to item 7. We are expecting an impact on our sales tax receipts from the coronavirus. Receipts in May and June are expected to be lower budgeted amounts. I
Yeah, we
believe
already-
Susan's already touched on this a little bit. So go ahead, Mr. Gunderson.
Yeah, I was just going to say, we've already touched on it during the financial discussion, but we want to make sure you are aware that we do expect those to be significantly lower. That's it.
Anybody have anything?
Nope.
All right, item 8, we are tracking all coronavirus related expenses for potential federal reimbursement, including the payroll expenses for those employees who have been asked to stay home during the crisis. We've touched on this a little bit too, but go ahead, Mr. Gunderson.
Yeah, Susan is tracking individual expenses related to the coronavirus. And Jennifer has set up a specific code for hours that are paid in the absence of the employees, because we've asked those employees to stay home. So we're tracking those hours on the payroll system. And we will have documentation for when we submit requests to FEMA. And FEMA, I guess, has said that they're going to try to reimburse up to 75%. As you know, everything in this crisis is kind of iffy at this point. We don't have any guarantees of reimbursement, but I expect that we will get some reimbursement.
Yeah, Mr. Gunderson,
So
if
we
I
don't have-
if I can
Oh, go
add,
ahead.
oh, that's okay. If I can just add to that, so what we're having to do is because of the national declaration with a disaster, essentially applying for reimbursement is going to be a very competitive style application, almost like a grant. So we're being very meticulous. Both Susan and I have been attending the required trainings through the Texas Department of Emergency Management to make sure that we qualify for these reimbursements. We're utilizing all of the FEMA forms, making sure that all employees are filling those out and tracking anything and everything that we do specifically related to the response for COVID-19. So our goal is to, at the very end of this, we'll be able to submit those financials. And essentially what FEMA will do is they will review everything. And as long as we are compliant with all the rules and regulations through TDM, and we're compliant with everything that FEMA has asked us to do, and we follow all the right steps, and we get it in soon enough, we should be able to expect reimbursement of up to 75% of expenses related to the virus. Our hope here is to hopefully help offset some of the impact. So you're aware that there are small business loans out there. There's paycheck guarantee programs out there for small businesses. There's the stimulus packages that were put into place for residents. So there's a lot of programs out there to really help residents and business owners, but there's not a program one out there designed to help government entities. This is that program. So it's very important that we track everything the way that we're tracking it, and we stay on top of it. We've been working very diligently, constantly, it seems like, on creating our 30, 60, and 90-day plans that we talked about back when I briefed council on the programs. We're still continuing to evaluate those. And now in talking with Jennifer and Chief Watley on the fire side and everybody else, kind of developing an idea and a plan of what's going to be the long-term goals here. What are we going to do with the city on the long-term end? How are we going to change our procedures? Because the fact is the virus isn't going to go away next week. It's not going to go away next month. We're not going to have a vaccine for this thing for quite some time. So how do we continue our operations and move forward with life and still keep employees safe, as well as look out for the fiscal management and the financial status of the city? So we're encompassing all this stuff together, and it's definitely something to think about. Very seriously need to consider how we're going to move forward, but we are on top of it, and we're doing everything we can from our end.
Okay, I have a question. I understand, the reimbursement and all that's going to take time. how are we affording right now to pay these employees that are sitting home? And we're still paying.
Well, the fact that they're staying home is not directly impacting revenue at this point. Now, as sales tax begins to be impacted, the revenues from which we pay employees is
Gunderson, we can't.
going to be dropping. So,
Are you there?
Yeah.
hello?
You're
Somebody else
breaking up
talking?
real bad.
Oh, really?
Oh, I can hear just fine.
Yeah.
Okay. Must be our Wi-Fi. As I was saying, right now, the revenues are still flowing. We expect the impact to begin in May on revenues. But as Susan mentioned before, we are collecting our property tax and we're about 95, 96% collected on the property tax. So the funds are there at this point.
Okay, well, let me ask you, as far as parks and the streets, how many guys is there that work in those two departments?
Off the top of my head, I would say, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. I believe there are 6 full-time, one part-time.
Okay, so is there any of them that are doing any work right now at all?
Oh, yeah. They are still looking at the properties. They're mowing the lawns. They're picking up the trash. They're they're not doing road work
Why?
unless pardon me?
Why aren't they doing any patching potholes and stuff?
Well, what I'm trying to say is we're not rebuilding any roads, but they will do all the necessary maintenance as it is required. They're just not coming into the city hall.
Right.
to.
Okay, they are working.
They are.
Okay, I was just curious because I've noticed there's a lot of potholes and stuff. Of course, I know we've had a lot of rain, but it would be nice to let people see that, you know, our street department is actually doing some work on them.
Yeah, they're on call between 8 and 5 every day for routine things, and Jeff is managing that. So where we need to be doing maintenance, he's doing that.
Okay. I still don't see how we can afford to keep paying employees, you know, that are home. And I realize we still have our revenue right now, but in the long run, what's it going to do? And I'm not trying to be tacky, don't get me wrong, but you know, we do have, you know, unemployment that they could file too, but you know, it's just something to think about. So I'm done.
I understand your point, and it's considered.
I know.
think
I know. I just know that, you know, like the mayor in Burleson, you know, he's going to have to lay off employees and stuff. And he said he will because of the impact for their city and this and that. And I thought, wow, it's huge. And I thought, oh, I don't know how we're paying ours.
One thing to our advantage, we don't have a huge sales tax that we're
Oh, I know.
relying on. Most of ours is ad valorem. So that helps us somewhat.
Yeah, there are some cities that have a very low ad valorem tax and rely totally on their sales tax, and they are definitely hurting.
Yeah. Okay, I'm done.
Anything else? Okay, let's go to new business, consideration possible action. Item 1 is to approve 2 county interlocal agreements for the rebuild of Johnson Park parking lots. One is for a 47,000 square foot lot and the other is for a 54,000 square foot lot. I'll entertain a motion.
I move we approve the 2 county interlocal agreements as read.
I'll second.
Motion
just
made and
want-
seconded. Any further
just-
discussion?
Yeah,
Go ahead.
I just want to explain that this is what you've already approved, but in a previous single interlocal, it's the same exact parking lots broken into 2 pieces.
Right.
And the same prices?
Yes.
Anything else? Rachel, would you poll the council?
Place 2,
Aye.
place 3,
Aye.
place 4,
Aye.
place 5,
Aye.
place 6.
Aye.
Mayor,
Aye. Motion carries. Item 2, approve the purchase of a new replacement mini excavator with trailer in the amount of $52,006. I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion that we approve the purchase of the new mini excavator with the trailer for $52,006.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Any further discussion?
Well, what department was that coming out of?
It's going to be the water department.
Okay.
Mayor,
Yes.
Mayor and Mr. Gunderson, just a recommendation, can we change that motion to be a motion just simply to purchase new equipment for the water department in the amount of $52,000 or up to $52,000? I do have a couple other resources I want to check overnight and get to you guys in the morning, just in case we might find a better deal. That way, if we do, we can go ahead and still move forward with that purchase and still save some money. But if we'll have to reword the motion to say, spend up to $52,000 for the purchase of new equipment for the water department.
$52,006.
Correct, yes, ma'am.
Have y'all not checked around for get other estimates?
That's what he's talking about doing.
I'll make a new motion that we approve up to $52,006 for new equipment for the water department for water repairs.
I second it.
Okay, motion made and seconded. Is that good, Craig?
I think that'll be a better option. That way we're covered all the way around.
Okay. Rachel, would you poll the council?
place 2,
Aye.
place 3,
Aye.
place 4,
Aye.
place 5,
Aye.
place 6.
Aye.
Mayor,
Aye. Motion carries. Next item's unfinished business. I don't believe we have anything. Craig, Michael?
I would like to ask if we could move the time from 5 o'clock to maybe 5:30, so I don't have to sit here in the shop with everybody running engines and stuff.
We'll see what our next meeting's gonna look like, Kelly, whether it's in person or if it's online, then I'll get with Mr. Gunderson and we'll see if we can work that out.
Okay, because it's kind of hard to hear when they start up the engines.
Yeah. Okay, mayor's report. I don't believe I have anything. Just keep in mind, we know our budget is gonna be,
Bad.
it's not gonna be good. So let's be very cautious of our spending as far as council goes. I know we have TML conference coming up if it doesn't get moved back, and let's just be very cautious of how we're spending the city's money. So with that being said, Rachel, do we have any citizens' comments?
Okay, wait a minute. Okay, let me back up for just a second. So Craig, when you find out, if you find out anything on this excavator, will you let us know?
Yeah, we'll certainly forward it to council. There's One resource I for sure want to check, because I think we might be able to either find a mini excavator or a full-size backhoe for maybe similar price. I forwarded it to Lisa, but I'm not sure Lisa had an opportunity since the virus kicked in to take a good look at it. So I just found that a little bit ago. I want to run that by Mr. Gunderson first and at least take a look at it. And that way, if we do find something that's a better deal, or even a full-size backhoe for that price, if we're going to spend $52,000, it would be better to obtain a full-size one rather than a mini track.
Then you'll bring it back
We'll
to
certainly
us.
let you know.
Then bring it back to us, or will we know
Well,
about
no.
this?
If
We've
it's over
already approved.
$52,006, it would come back to council. But if it's less than $52,006, then council's approved that amount. We'll
Well,
do
we'd
it.
still kind of like to know if we get one.
Absolutely.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, Rachel, do we have any citizens' comments?
No.
Okay. No citizens' comments, so with that being said, we are adjourned.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Everybody have a good evening.